In central schools, outstanding students in the academies. The protest is really the undemocratic way that the
of course, no problem.
Hello,
I'd be pleased to talk to everybody. Hiya, nice to see you. Hello there.
I believe you're on our side.
There as you were.
I believe you're on our side.
Well, I don't know all the local, so tell me about the local situation, and then I'll tell you what.
We've got 7 schools within Sefton who are very close to going to academy status.
Right. Is your problem that they're not consulting properly?
That's one of the biggest issues. It's been rushed. One school out of the 7 has decided to hold a ballot. That was only after pressure from the parents.
Right.
Other schools have,
only one out.
And other schools have all.
And the questions on the ballot were so rigged.
All geared towards
going into an academy.
We work in the school. I'm a parent, and we haven't been given the other side. We haven't been able to hear what the teachers. 90 teachers out of 140 in my child's school. This is Tom. Have voted against it, and yet we're not allowed in the public meeting to find out why the teachers aren't happy. And as parents, we're not really given a forum to be able to discuss why we're concerned about it, and we're concerned about it because we believe in a comprehensive system.
Well, I do. I mean, that's absolutely what I believe.
And the students in my school have hardly been given any information about the academy, except for one meeting by the head teacher who's for it. So it's an incredibly bad decision, and students can't make a decision.
And the student, as well as the teachers, the student voice isn't being heard at all.
No. All the staff in the schools, support staff and teaching staff, are being told what's happening. They don't have a voice. But it's us who make the schools successful.
Of course.
But just to make a point, I'm local secretary of the NASUWC Teachers Union, and in each of the 7 schools, the staff have voted against it. There's not a single school where the staff have voted in favour of going to academy.
That hasn't had any apparent effect on the governor's decision or the speed with which they seem to be heading towards it.
And the government have tried to keep NASUWT out of the picture, haven't they? They've tried to marginalise the whole thing. I mean, my response to it would be that Gove's just railroading one type of school on every community.
Well, especially now, we had a meeting yesterday with our head, and he said you should be glad you're so successful, you've been chosen to be an academy. Now today, 200 primary schools, failing primary schools, are being told you will be an academy. So it is every school. It's not a question of successful ones or failing ones.
We're technically non-political, but it's ideological. This is privatisation.
It's getting rid of the LEAs.
And also, if you think about it, in an all-academy world, they're going to weaken the powers of the school adjudicator. And who stands up for the parents in that?
Exactly. Only Michael Gove.
And then, who does an MP write to if they have a concern about school? All the way up to every school controlled from Whitehall. I mean, the thing I would say is that they talk about localism. I mean, it's all. And I would say to you here, your local Lib Dem MP here as well. You should take your I'm sure you are. You should take your concerns.
He has. Well, he's been in the local paper saying we should have had a vote. In fact, everyone has.
Fair dues then.
And all of Sefton Council have said parents and staff should have a vote before they change.
What's infuriating is all of our elected officials have come out and said give parents the ballot, but the schools. Or all but one of the schools have still refused to do
I think the case you're making is unanswerable, to be honest. Unless there is community support, then really they shouldn't go ahead. The trouble is, obviously, Gove's rigged the kind of system so that funding is geared unevenly, and that's part of the problem that you face, of course. So
and the primary school is going to be even worse off, because they don't have the admin staff to run the school as a single entity. We do have admin staff in the secondary schools, but the younger school, the smaller schools, they've got no chance of surviving this, and there won't be an LEA that they need to help them to run their schools.
One of the major concerns we've got is that they're doing this in spite of all the opposition.
Being pushed through.
The whole council have voted and agreed there should be a ballot. The leader of the council.
So the schools aren't listening to any local elected.
Not listening to anyone.
Not the MP or the councillors.
Gove continuously is telling us that teachers are best placed to run schools. They know how best to run schools. There's an argument to get rid of LAs. but all of the teaching unions are opposed to the Academies
Where's the
programme.
parent voice
All of
in
the
all these
teachers are opposed. There is no voice. And let's not forget as well, I mean, I live in Bootle and we're talking here about there's some more successful Sefton schools being invited to convert. The schools in Bootle are being left behind financially as we all go for the first rush. And, you know, what are they going to be left with? The most destitute areas?
You're doing well there, well done. So start young for testing, that's good.
We're looking to you to...
well, I mean, from my point of view, I mean, because Bill Esterson's told me all about your campaign, so I knew about, you know, because he brought your concerns to me as well. I think it's really outrageous what's happening to you.
Well, this all started with Labour trying to help the run-down schools in the
had a different. See, we had a different view entirely on academies.
And money coming in. Completely. Now that's been hijacked by the Lib Dems, who are saying every school get rid of the LAs.
My approach on it is that, you know, it's not. I don't think it should be for any politician to dictate to a community you must have that kind of school. It should be a matter of local choice, parent choice. All people.
If everybody votes for it, I'll go along with it. We're not going to vote. And my members, I
don't say I'm against all academies, because I'm not, you know, because some of them, you know, we introduced some of them in areas where they needed a new start.
Inner cities.
And they were
and you couldn't attract staff to them and the buildings were falling down.
I've been challenging them in the Commons today because also we're finding out that the funding is completely all over the place. He's ramming it through at such speed that he's making mistakes.
That's right.
And you know,
I've heard
is not fair.
It was said at one of our public meetings that more time was spent on the Dangerous Dogs Act than on this Academies bill in Parliament. Where's the sense in that?
It was quite literally rammed through after the general election. It was actually, they used counter-terrorism procedures to get it through. They did.
Because we're terrorists.
They rammed it through. And no debate, no nothing. But the real worry is, isn't it, now that it's basically all of education gets controlled by the Secretary of State from London and says to every community, you must have this kind of school.
And then he gives that school to his mates to make up a chain.
And you must teach the English baccalaureate, and you must...
where's local accountability?
I have no idea.
And where do the parents go if there's a problem? If you've got a problem with your child...
Local people will still go to the council and say, we're worried about this school, you know, and they'll be powerless, won't they?
The council won't have any influence.
What I'm surprised is how the Lib Dems are accepting this, because they used to talk of the local role, the role of the local authority. I mean, I'm pleased that John Pugh has said what he said, but nationally the Lib Dems need to say more about it.
Well, whether they will with the as they did with the hospitals. But nobody's saying anything on the television about academies.
The bill, that's right, yeah, exactly. We're increasingly exasperated that obviously NHS, the big story seems to be at the moment that NHS reforms are being rushed through and not thought of and then protested against. But we feel like this is being almost slipped. It's slipping past without anyone taking it.
I find it frustrating to get folks on education because the health reform has dominated everything. But the education bill is just starting in the Lords now. And I think focus will turn to the education bill because there's a lot of concern in the House of Lords about it.
But in 3 weeks' time, our governors in our school will vote on a simple majority of
unelected governors.
That's right.
Unelected governors.
And they will just pass it through because there's more power for them. And the head says it's a good idea. And as they put the head into power, they're not going to vote against it.
If you cannot carry community support, I don't see how it can go forward.
The community are not being
there is no community support.
You know, they're not offering any information.
But the real problem is once a school converts, you can't go back.
There's no way back to it. If it doesn't work, it goes under. There isn't suck it and see and then go back. If it's not for us, it's finished. We cannot go back to the LEA.
So I've got this straight. The council has voted for a ballot of all.
They've recommended.
To
us, but they can't
Bill
obviously
supports that. John Pugh supports that. And
Peter Dowd, the leader of the Labour Party,
supports it.
He supports it.
But the schools are saying.
Well, because of the Academies bill, they're saying governors need only talk to people they want to talk to.
It's very loose.
And then have the vote.
There's no real statutory.
But every time they are kind of questioned on it, they come back to the fact that they have gone through the proper consultation procedures, which are they're obliged to by the education.
Can I say to you, it doesn't sound acceptable to me. I will try and raise this on a more national level if I can. I don't know when the opportunity might arise, but if it does, I will.
Well, just time is against us. That's all I'm saying. The 11th of July, the governors in McGall High School, where I work, will make the decision. We've only got weeks left.
And it's less for some of the schools.
It's less. Some of them want to go through in August.
Yeah.
Mine's going through in September. Yeah. And I've got no faith that we can stop it.
I'll talk to Bill Estes and see if there's more we can do to put pressure on us.
I do appreciate you talking to us.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Could I give you that card just in case you want?